Hello, my name is Mark Ian Victorio speaking about alternative energy sources for Dr. Lipuma's English 352 class. Alternative energy is defined by dictionary.com as energy as solar, wind, or nuclear energy that can replace or supplement traditional fossil fuel sources such as coal, oil, and natural gas. Wikipedia defines alternative energy as an umbrella term that refers to any source of usable energy intended to replace fuel sources without the undesired consequences of the replaced fuels. So generally, alternative energy is any kind of energy source that can be used to replace the traditional ways that is currently being implemented, which includes the use of coal, oil, and natural gas. Let's start off with a brief history of energy sources. The first known source of fuel was burning wood, which can date back to the discovery of fire. But during the medieval period, coal became the alternative fuel source for wood to help stop the overuse of their current dominant fuel source. Whale oil was used as lamp fuel in the 19th century and was replaced by petroleum when whale oil supplies depleted. At the turn of the 20th century, ethanol alcohol from corn and other foodstuffs became the alternative energy sources for coal and oil. Also in the 20th century, coal gasification was advocated as an alternative for petroleum. Coal gasification is the process of creating coal gas which can be converted into transportation fuels such as gasoline in a different process. As technology became more and more advanced, more ideas came out for renewable resources. Some of these new technologies included solar panels that harness sunlight and convert it to usable energy, and wind turbines that harness wind power and convert it to usable energy. Other renewable resources include tidal power, where tide mills harness the power of predictable tides in order to use that as energy, and also geothermal heat, where the heat from the inner earth is converted to usable energy. More recent forms of renewable resources are biomass, hydrogen, and nuclear power. But that leads to the question, what about other energy sources? I was sure there are more alternative energy sources than what was given, so I decided to research a little further. So this leads to the assignment. The assignment was to add a new page or revise a page on wikipedia.org that I felt needed to be added or revised. Then the assignment asked to revise the Wikipedia entry and document the sources that contain the valid information to reference. As I was going through the Wikipedia entry for alternative energy, I noticed that there was not enough information on new innovations and ideas that are uncommon but currently being designed and tested. So after the heading Recent Forms in that entry, I added another heading called Relatively New Concepts for Alternative Energy. And under that heading, I added three more subheadings: floating wind farms, bug excrement, and biogas digestion. Let's go on to the first subheading, floating wind farms. Floating wind farms are wind farms out in the middle of the ocean. The advantage of setting up a floating wind farm is to harness the natural energy of the ocean winds. Since there are no obstructions in the middle of the ocean, such as hills, trees, and buildings, winds can reach up to twice the speed as speeds closer to the coastal areas. This design is currently being perfected by a Norwegian energy company by the name of Statoil Hydro and will be tested in the fall of 2009. Following the heading of floating wind farms is bug excrement. Bug excrement is the idea that bugs can break down waste into fuel. Scientists have developed a way to alter the DNA of industrial yeast and non-pathogenic E. coli to break down waste and turn it into fuel. These single-celled organisms are the bugs that are currently being worked on by scientists. The reason that this idea could work is that a renewable resource, and it is also carbon negative. Carbon negative means that the process will remove more carbon from the atmosphere than what it outputs. Following bug excrement is a biogas digestion. Biogas digestion is the process of harnessing methane gas from waste to fuel. Methane gas can be found in garbage and also sewage systems. In order for methane gas to be released, bacteria breaks down the biomass from the garbage and the sewage. The methane gas is acquired from this process and can be used to power gas utilities. My sources are listed under references as item number 29, item number 30, item number 31, and item number 32. The first listed source is where I found information on these new concepts for alternative energy. This information is on the How Stuff Works website and the evidence is supported. This website is affiliated with Discovery Channel. The second listed source is where most information can be found about floating wind farms. This information is credible because this is the actual website to Statoil Hydro, which is the company designing and testing the floating wind farm concept. The third listed source is more information to back up the topic for bug excrements. This information is credible because it is part of the Times newspaper online in London, England. The fourth listed source is more information regarding biogas digestion. This information in this website is valid because this site is a government-affiliated website. As a final point, there are currently many types of alternative energy sources and new ideas are being designed and tested. There are concepts that should be mentioned because they seem to be closer to existence than what they may seem. I chose to revise this Wikipedia page about alternative energy in order to inform others about these innovative concepts and to add to the current information already on the page.